So, a very warm good evening to all of you. I welcome you all on behalf of the team UPES online and on my personal behalf. I am Dr. Kabir Sharma, the moderator for the today's session, and I am very excited, and so as you, because we are here to discuss a very interesting topic, or I must say, the theme of today's discussion, that is financial intelligence 2.0. Can artificial intelligence magic redefine MBA finance? And it's my pleasure that today we have two eminent experts with a blend of academia and industry. So first of all, let me welcome our first panelist, Dr. Naila Rushdie. She is an ex-professor. She comes with a vast experience of academia and industry. She is empaneled with Securities Exchange Board of India as a smart trainer, and she is the founder and principal trainer of Mashwara Invest Education. And today she is joining from Lucknow. Dr. Naila, I welcome you on behalf of Team UPS Online and on behalf of all the participants.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And moving ahead towards our second panelist, second expert, Dr. Indrani Sengupta. She comes with a decade of experience in academia, and presently she is associated with Pearl Academy, New Delhi, as an associate professor in business management. Dr. Indrani, I welcome you.
Thank you, Dr. Kabir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. When I remember when I was into my master's, at that point of time, artificial intelligence was the buzzword. And I still remember we so innocent we were at that point of time that we used to say that, okay, artificial intelligence is something which is meant for the countries like UK or USA, or maybe Germany, Australia. I think India it will not touch India. But now I believe how wrong we were at that point of time. The integration of artificial intelligence, the transformation it has been done or we have observed in the last decade is tremendous. I was reading to a report and it was very well written that you are coming from technology or you are coming from a non-technological background, be it social sciences, be it management or commerce. Artificial intelligence is something which you all should know. If you want the industry to accept you, if you want to bang on to the industry, artificial intelligence is the key. So without doing much of ado, let us go to our experts and let's have an insightful discussion on this theme. So first of all, my first question is to Dr. Indrani. How do you see the role of artificial intelligence evolving in the field of finance, especially considering its impact on the decision-making process?
Dr. Kabir, thank you for this opportunity. Hello, Dr. Naila. So it's a very interesting topic that we are going to talk about today. We talk about, and being a finance person who has been able to manage all the finances of the household on their own, and from the basic stuff like filling taxes, TDS, and all such things, to now, when we look at the technology upgradation, it seems very interesting that how far we have come along actually. Now, when we look at that, we see, I remember going back to the traditional days when we talk about when it was first and coming from a, let's say, a service industry, and taking care of such stuff. And when we talk about things such as, I remember when Tally was introduced, and when our parents were working in the bank or various such sectors, when Tally was introduced, then we were like, okay, what is going to come next? Okay. And then everyone, including our parents, they shifted from this to Tally. And now gradually we have seen how the role of AI has shaped and evolved into these things. We talk about, as statisticians or as finance people, we do also talk about big data analytics. Big data, we talk about cloud, we talk about predictive analytics, everything goes hand in hand. Now, if we look at predictive analytics, it is actually an IoT world where we are living in. Look at our mobile phones, it has replaced almost anything and everything. It has replaced the camera, it has replaced all the gadgets and alarm clock and everything. So this is how a lot of things have evolved. Now, talking on the lines of how we see that MBA Finance and artificial intelligence incorporating finance, there are a lot of things. If you look at an application called Albert, it is actually a very, very interesting application which manages the finances, takes care of, caters to the budget, and a lot of other things. Wherein, but of course, the key is the human touch. There is a human touch to it. There are experts set of human who are available behind this entire thing, and they are working on it. However, if I put my specifications, they're going to give me a complete details of that these are the finances, this is the budgeting, and this is how it's going to be. So one thing is managing our budget and finance becomes very, very easy. Going forward, if we talk about, a lot of people, a lot of us these days do trading. So there are algos. So there are computer algos which are made up of, I mean, algorithms. So these are also AI generated algorithms which makes the trading and these transactions very, very easy. So and there are much more to it, like not only managing but also compliances. There are websites or AI handlers who actually manage the compliances, because we all know that we are, the moment we say that we are very much into AI, there are chances of cyber threat and cyber attack as well. So therefore these things, everything comes with a price. So I think gradually India will also be one of the, like, we are one of the top consumers of everything, and we will also be very soon pro with the AI.
Rightly said, madam. With so much of population, we are a big market for
Absolutely.
each and every product. And as you said, as you started your answer, I remember at the time of my articleship, we used to learn Tally from Tally 4.5 or 5.3 or 5.2, I guess. So the blank screen, I mean, the black kind of interface. And over a period of time, the tools and technologies, they have changed a lot. I mean, it is so user friendly these days. I mean, it's so easy. I would not say it's easy, but it is user friendly, I must say. Now, Dr. Naila, my next question is with you. Since you come from the real or the core expertise you have with the financial market, can you suggest or can you provide some examples how artificial intelligence is presently influencing the financial market, both in India and in global aspects as well?
Thank you. Dr. Kabir, I'd like to put my own opinion here. So, there are two parts to it. One is the at the user interface level. So, we see a lot of bots for banks. So you have HDFC Bank with EVA, and you have ICICI Bank with iPal. So this is the user interface part where bots are being used in a very extensive manner. But I would say that for an MBA finance, what is more important is how AI is used at the back end. So whether it is being used in fund management, like BlackRock is using it for assessing market trends and facilitating informed decisions. Then National Stock Exchange of India is using it for market surveillance and for risk mitigation. Uh, so ultimately it's a bot. So the thing is that the people who will be running the bot are MBA finances. They need to know the concept. So saying that it has of course become easy, no doubt about it, but the requirement of knowledge and concept has become even more from the point of view of the students who are entering the industry, because uh, you can't really rely completely on technology. uh, with all the good things about technology, I am not questioning the good things, but call me an old fashioned person. I believe in the law which says that when anything can go wrong, it will go wrong. So the people who are running the system, unless they are themselves aware of what is happening, the concept part is very, very important. So if their students are well grounded in concepts, then they will be able to operate the AI in a better manner. Otherwise, the machine will be ruling the human, which is definitely not a very great idea. It actually quite scares me, frankly speaking.
No, that is very well said, and you have raised a very good point, which Dr. Indrani was also mentioning that it comes to ethics, and when it comes to the application of artificial intelligence, at the end, it should be the human part who is running the artificial intelligence and
That's
not the artificial. We are being driven by the artificial
right.
intelligence. We cannot
Correct.
completely rely. And since you have the exposure of academia, a huge experience of academia, you very well said that as a learner, you must, I mean, even with the advent of artificial intelligence, you must rely on the basics as well. Only focusing on the technology part will not work for the MBA finance student, because you will not be a techie guy. But you are there to help, you are there to guide them that what are the pros and what are the cons. Am I right, Dr. Rushdi?
Absolutely. So, the tech guy might design the AI, but the content will be provided by the finance guy. And
100%.
if the content is not grounded in solid principles, then the entire AI will malfunction. Uh,
Exactly.
yeah. So it's very important.
So my next question is to Dr. Indrani. With the increasing role of artificial intelligence in finance, how do you think we can ensure accessibility and inclusivity, especially for those who may not have a technical background? And usually when it comes to management people, sometimes they do have technical background and many times they don't. They come from social sciences, they come from commerce and management itself. So how do you think that they will have, or we can ensure accessibility and inclusivity?
Dr. Kabir, when we look at this perspective, it is easy. I mean, it is, we know it comes with certain kind of constraints as well. We also need to understand that we are in a country which is logistically sound, sitting in metro cities, or let's say sitting in tier 1 tier 2 cities, whereas at the same time there are cities which are tier 3, or there is, we do not have proper logistics, or let's say proper technical environment for the villages where these accessibilities, or small towns where these accessibilities are not possible. So I think this is going to take some time to evolve and for everyone to reach there. However, the question that you had asked is accessibility and let's say inclusivity for people. I think whatever background you are coming from, and like Dr. Naila also mentioned, that it is very, very important for us to understand the basics. If we understand the basics, like we don't have to really, if I go back to my MBA finance days, perception used to be that once I'm through with my MBA finance, I'm going to get a cabin where I'll be sitting and doing some finances for a company and sitting in an AC room. But actually, it is not the real time. You do your MBA and then you realize that the world is absolutely a different place. You have to stay updated. You have to know what's happening around. So, but of course, these tools do act as a lot of, I mean, these tools do act and they are a lot interactive in nature. However, to make them more inclusive, we also need to work and know about a lot of things or a lot of applications which are available. I'll tell you, I was going through a couple of days back regarding the application that I just had a word with Albert. There are, there are similar applications and similar websites who are working on these lines and helping people to offer checking, savings account, debit cards, overdraft facility. Some of them are called Chime. One of them is Earnin. You earn couple of points. Then there are transactions which are happening in dollars. Then there is another app which is very interestingly Dave, DAVE. So that's another cash advanced app which allows you to access up to $200 of your earned wages. Then there is something called Empower, which not only offers you the checking account and the savings account, as well as there are certain other facilities also. It trains you as well that this is how you can learn and this is how the finances can be managed. Okay, you come from any of the background, but you have to be aware that this is okay. The platform has to be very, very user friendly, and of course there has to be proper training sessions given to these people, so that, like we always say, on the job, off the job training. So these kind of training should be given to people so that you understand that okay, this particular thing works in this manner. That is what I feel.
This is a very important point, what you said. as that if you want to increase the outreach in a country like India, in a tier 3 cities, definitely there is an issue related to trust, or maybe they believe that when it comes to finance they are quite hesitant many a times. So unless and until we give them proper training, it will not work. And if there is a proper training and if it is a need of the hour, then definitely the outreach will expand, like we have seen in case of UPIs. I still remember before COVID that was not the case. Now these days, even if you're going for a small thing, I mean each and everywhere you can see the QR codes. So this transformation will take time, but definitely India is accepting, and we are accepting it in the great manner, I must say. Okay, so my next question is to Dr. Naila. In what ways do you see, or in what ways do you foresee the integration of artificial intelligence changing the landscape of MBA in finance education?
So, you know, about 2 decades ago, I would say we were doing finance by using manual calculations. So, when I did my MBA, which was about 25 years ago, at that time, there was no even concept of using Excel spreadsheets. So we were doing time value of money calculations basis tables. And we were deriving beta by manual calculations, learning the formulae of standard deviation and all that. But as technology has evolved, and as because I have been into teaching and I have changed as the system has gone on, so the data availability is huge. So like Dr. Indrani talked about big data, the data has to be harnessed. Now, that harnessing is not possible manually. It has to be done using some machines, AI driven. But again, the output has to be evaluated by a human. And if they are to evaluate the output, it has to be done based on the fundamental concepts. So I'll keep going back to the concepts. I'm a teacher first, and I think concepts are the most important. Technology goes and comes. So today we have these tools, tomorrow we might have different ones. But the concepts are not going anywhere. So somebody who has worked on one bot will be able to work on another bot with some minor changes. But the concept stays. So yes, if we integrate AI tools within the MBA finance curriculum, they will be able to, use technology to analyze data better, use analytic tools, both for prescriptive as well as predictive analytics. And it will make a dynamic kind of a learning environment, something which they will actually do when they start working. So it will be more like a simulation to the real world. As end users, possibly we are really not aware what is happening in companies real time. We might be thinking we are interacting with a human, but actually that might be a bot. So the pervasiveness of AI is actually underestimated. And companies are rushing towards AI because it actually reduces human cost. So the work which was possibly done by 10 people can be done by one supervisor, and rest will be managed by the bot. But if the supervisor is not aware again of the fundamentals, then the machines will make a fool of it. So that kind of environment has to be simulated in the classroom. The student has to understand that this is how the world is going to function. And so you have, like, for example, financial modeling is something that we teach in MBA, and we use spreadsheets for that. But there is a Kensho kind of platform which utilizes AI for financial modeling. It provides valuable insights. So maybe if we can expose the students to such platforms, then it will be better for them. They'll be more job ready. They'll be able to get absorbed in the companies right after passing. So again, a very firm grounding on the basics, and then maybe some exposure to current tools, and maybe some kind of maybe internships in companies which are AI driven. That would be, I think, a good formula for preparing students for an AI driven world in future.
Rightly said. And as you said, I still remember there was an incident when was having a class MDP program. So one of the students asked me, "Sir, why you are explaining us the formula for the calculation of time value of money, as we have the spreadsheet available with us?" So I also gave the same reference, like though spreadsheet is there and you are supposed to use the spreadsheet and the tools available in the industry, there is no doubt about it. But at the back end, you should know that how these concepts work. From where do we get this present value factors so that you can transform your future inflows to the present value, unless and until you know the things. Because it was the case, the student was very well versed. She was working with a PSU. She knows that the cutoff rate for their PSU for a project is 18%.
Mm-hmm.
But what is IRR? What is the internal rate of return? And why it is 18%? Why not 17? Why not 19? And what else? She was unaware. But after
Right.
the session, she did realize that okay, that's the case. You should know the basics as well. Unless and until the basics are clear, you cannot integrate them with the latest tools and technologies. And as you said, these days a lot of tools are available, but at the end, it is you as a reader, as a manager, as a data handler, you have a data analyst, you have to analyze the data. There is a tool called as Power BI. I was astonished, like we are also using Power BI, but one of my student, he created a very, I mean, I don't have the word I can say, but a very great report. I mean, it was enriched with a lot of data, financial statements, where there he made the analysis in such a simple manner that even a layman can understand the analysis of that particular entity. But the fact was, he was well versed with the tool. At the same point of time, he knew that what the financial statements are reflecting at the very same moment. So with the combination, and this is important for all the listeners, if you're pursuing MBA in finance or if you're willing to do MBA in finance, the combination of core and the technology will make you the leader. Thank you, Dr. Naila. My next question is to Dr. Indrani. As artificial intelligence continues to reshape finance, how do you see the regulatory bodies adapting to ensure responsible and ethical use of artificial intelligence in the finance sector?
Interestingly, Dr. Kabir, when you're talking about regulatory bodies adopting to different things, it boils down to the fact that the way regulatory bodies are trying to cope up with certain things, are we ready to face the scammers as well? I mean, on Netflix, we do watch that there are several, on Netflix or various other OTT platforms, we have seen seasons such as Jamtara 1 and 2, where people are trying to trap you through something or the other. The main person or the main victim becomes the senior citizens who are not very pro with the tech and this thing. And very soon, I mean, this also happens that you and I, no matter we are MBA finance or no matter what millennials we are or Gen Z we are, these scammers, they find out some or the other loophole and try to trick you or me or us through the way. So therefore, it's very important for us to understand that how why these regulatory bodies actually, and what is the kind of role that these regulatory bodies play. Okay, now there has been scams related to AI, which includes AI voice scams. Now these includes AI generated voices which impersonate like familiar, like I will be, you will think that I am talking to you, but actually it's not me, it's some AI. So these and they try to trick through family member, friends, various other things. I remember it's been more than a year when a lot of accounts of SBI was hacked. A lot of data of SBI was gone, and the very next day we read a newspaper that there was huge data phishing that has happened with State Bank of India. So phishing attacks with AI has increased, investment scams with AI has increased. Like we talk about that, okay, it's going to make my life easy through generating, let's say, banking solutions, through giving me investment solutions, trading solutions, what not. But at the same time, there are scams also happening. So therefore, these regulatory frameworks about another anecdote I would want to give you here is the Monetary Authority of Singapore, they had also introduced guidelines to manage artificial intelligence and big data analytics risk in this factor, because if you look at just exactly a couple of minutes back when we were talking about the question where India is one of the huge consumer of every product, considering we have the largest pop youth in the world, okay, one of the largest youth in the world. So therefore India is very much under threat of these AI influenced things because of high mobile penetration, because of digital literacy gap, as well as lack of financial inclusion. So these things are very, very important when we say that regulatory framework or regulatory authorities should be there in place.
Rightly said, Dr. Indrani. And you started your response with the responsibility on the side of the user as well. Regulatory bodies are doing their part. SEBI is doing their part. RBI is doing their part. But at the end, as a user, we are also expected to be very much aware. And me and Dr. Naila, we were jointly, attending a training program from Security Exchange Board of India. And there they said that it is not the scammers only, it is the greed of the investors also. In general, if you are greedy towards investment is not about making you rich overnight. It takes time, it is a long journey. So sometimes it is a greed also. We have to be rational also. As an investor, you have to see what is right, what is wrong, what is supposed to be done. And many a times, as you rightly said, even my one of my colleague, he is not MBA, he is actually a PhD in finance, but he was scammed. He has received a link and he just clicked, and somehow he lost 40,000-50,000 rupees in a moment. And at the end, when he approached to the nearest police station, they said, sir, it is you only who shared that OTP and all. The link has been clicked, it has been accessed by your phone. So they were unable to help it. So we also have to be very careful. And as you said, that in India, still the financial inclusion is not done. A lot of government schemes are there. It has drastically improved with Jan Dhan scheme and all, but still a long way to go. So let's see, let's hope for the best. Will come out with flying colors. And I have received a very good question. That is related to your area of interest as well, Dr. Indrani. How do you perceive the intersection of blockchain technology with the artificial intelligence in the financial sector? And what implications might have for aspiring finance professionals?
Dr. Kabir, when we talk about blockchain, it's very important for us to understand that what is actually blockchain. We talk about blockchain, and immediately we talk about cryptocurrency, we talk about NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and a lot of people, India is still in the process of digesting and understanding cryptocurrencies. For instance, very well you mentioned that it's our greed, okay? Easy money, quick money, how easy I can make money. And in finance, Dr. Naila would agree, we study something called fundamental analysis and technical analysis. If we don't understand what is fundamental and technical analysis, nobody can teach me how to make easy money. I need to understand the fundamental things such as EIC, economy, industry, and the country, how the company, how the economy, how the industry, these things are working. So therefore, I completely agree with what Dr. Naila said. The concepts are very, very important, but at the same time, you have to equip yourself with the tech also, because tech these days has been integrated with marketing, finance, and everything. Now, coming to your question, Dr. Kabir, when we talk about blockchain technology, we need to understand that is India, okay, when we talk about blockchain, a basic example could be that there is a NFT lying with Dr. Kabir, and I am interested to buy that. Who is the source? Who is the destination? Everything gets tracked into the blockchain. So from you, it goes where in the entire blockchain, and how does it reach to me? And how do I become the owner of that particular NFT is the entire story of the blockchain. Whosoever has an access to the blockchain, they will be able to understand that how this entire thing has taken place. However, at the same time, I was A couple of days back, I was taking a session on Tech 5.0, wherein we were talking about the metaverse. How a lot of luxury brands, they have got into the metaverse, and what all is happening inside the metaverse. At the same time, are we as a country ready for NFTs? We talk about sustainability, NFTs, blockchain, all these things. Do we have a particular ecosystem, or we still have a couple of years wherein we will have these ecosystems in place? Because if you look at the NFT concept, it requires a lot of energy in terms of energy consumption. Do we have that kind of energy consumption? If yes, yes, we are definitely ready. If no, then it is yet to be worked upon. Now, coming to what we were talking about, I think the combination will enhance transparency. At the same time, it's also going to enhance security. It's very, very important. Like I was saying you that, okay, this belongs to you, but then I'm the destination. So I pay for it in crypto, and then the NFT reaches to me. However, the entire transaction takes place in blockchain. So therefore, whosoever wants to know that what was the source of it, they can very well go to the blockchain and see. So transparency, security, all of this comes through blockchain and AI integrated together. That would be my call.
I mean, I hope we all will agree, the participants as well, because I completely agree with what you said. And actually, the major motive of launching the technology of blockchain was to make a trail, so that you have a defined trail. Unless and until someone is trying to, I mean, replace the things or maybe manipulate the transactions, which is not authorized. I mean, with the blockchain technology, you can easily identify that, okay, from this particular node, this has happened. And at the very next node, if I'm not wrong, that gets tracked and that is replaced by the actual transaction. So that was the main motive. Thank you so much, Dr. Indrani. Now, my next question is to Dr. Naila. There is often a concern about artificial intelligence replacing human jobs. So, how do you envision the collaboration between artificial intelligence and human professionals, especially in the context of finance industry?
So, when we teach, we say there are lower order thinking skills and there are higher order thinking skills. So, yes, the lower order thinking skills are being replaced by artificial intelligence and, the data, sorting of data and, maybe doing some analysis. All that is being done by the technology. But as far as the analysis part is concerned and the interpretation of data is concerned, and one very important aspect is client handling. This part cannot possibly be done by the technology. And so, yes, the nature of jobs will change because of the adoption of AI. The lower order jobs will get eliminated, but the higher order jobs will remain. So people will continue to do the analysis, interpretation, the complex functions, the human interpersonal requirements, where you require to maybe network with people and liaise and deal with high-end clients. That AI will not be able to do. So AI can of course do the chatbot thing. So if any customer has small questions, then what is my bank balance and whether my check has been cleared or not. So these questions a bot can answer. But let's say there is a high net worth individual who is looking for investing lakhs of rupees, or maybe there is a merger acquisition taking place, and there is a negotiation between the buyers and sellers, and the investment banker is handling it. Now that part definitely no AI can do, because there is a role of emotions there. And the way people can manage, looking at people, you can understand the emotions, you can look at non-verbal cues, and you can see where the discussion is going. So no doubt about it that jobs will not be the way they are right now. There will be a huge change in the nature of jobs, but the jobs per se will not change. I mean, in the sense, the number of jobs is not going to change. Perhaps it might even increase. So that's my take.
Rightly said that the number of jobs will not get hampered, but yes, the skill set required to get those jobs is definitely changing in the dynamic scenario. And if you are interested, if you want to come, if you are a part, and if you are a part of finance industry, you have to be dynamic. You have to update yourself, as we all are doing as academicians also. We are talking about technology, though we are, I mean, we are belonging to the core essence of finance, but still we are updating, looking at the need of the hour, so as the industry professionals are also doing. It's not the case that okay, you have a defined skill sets and you'll continue and to growth towards the path of success. If you want to succeed in the dynamic environment, you need to update yourself with the latest tools and technologies which are available. Let me take a question from Divyanshu. Divyanshu is asking on what factor online MBA differs from that of a classroom. So Divyanshu, in this case, let me tell you this answer, that online MBA is basically meant for the working professionals. Okay, because you cannot attend the classes if you're working. Okay, conventional MBA is for those who have time, who are not working presently. They can devote 2 years by losing their job if they're not, and if they're not doing the job, then it's 100% fine. But if you are a working professional, many a times you cannot take a leap because of financial constraints as well. So for online MBA, definitely it gives you self-paced learning. It is based on synchronous and asynchronous content, which you can access at your own pace. You will have live sessions also from the faculties. But yes, as far as the online MBA is concerned, a dedication is required from the end of the learner. I am not saying that in the conventional MBA it is not required, but self-discipline also plays a keen role when it comes to online MBA. But as far as the learning is concerned, if you are dedicated, definitely you will learn and you'll find yourself in the path of success, and definitely it will help you to get that leap in your financial career, as if you have completed the undergrad and then you are going from the masters of the online MBA, maybe in MBA finance as well. Dr. Naila, would you like to contribute something to this particular question?
So, this online thing started after the pandemic. Things really accelerated the online thing. So, the online distance learning was always there. I mean, it has been there for decades now, but it wasn't the preferred option. But now that things are so easily accessible, if you have the right infrastructure for this, if you have a good network connection, you have a good laptop, and you are like good to go. What cannot be replaced is the dedication. Like Dr. Kabir rightly said, you require focus. If you are a person who requires the stick, then I would suggest you go for the regular MBA, because then your professors will be running after you and you will be required to submit assignments on time and appear in class and attend lectures for 6 hours to 7 hours every day. On the other hand, if you are more the self disciplined person, self motivated person who has a control over your own let's say timetable, then online MBA is as good as regular MBA. But then only if you are suited to it. I mean, ultimately, it is you who will be the deciding factor, not the course itself. The course is same, but the learner abilities and the learner maturity level, that will determine whether you are suited for an online program or an offline. So, I mean, I hope I am right there, Dr. Kabir.
100%. I couldn't agree more, because it is up to the learner only at the end that how he or she is utilizing the flexibility in the online program or misutilizing the flexibility. Okay. Okay, let me take another query. Let me read the query for your reference. With the current setup as well, whenever there happens a fraud detection, it still goes to a certain bank and the account holder of that account can be held responsible, as all bank accounts are created with the KYC documents. How will the blockchain help in this? Dr. Indrani, I think I would like to put this question to you because this is your area of interest as well.
Sure, sir. We need to understand, like I've been talking about blockchain, And I've been talking about the required ecosystem that is very much required in India, or let's say in any of the country where blockchain, crypto, and everything is legalized and you are allowed to transact, you're allowed in the entire process. Okay. Now, a lot of my students, they do create NFTs also, because I come from that background, and then they try to sell also these NFTs. Okay. Now, if this entire thing happens through blockchain, then what is going to happen is that they will have an idea that, okay, I was the creator of this particular NFT, and this is the blockchain through which it has gone from one node to the next node to the next node, and then to the final destination. Okay. Now, your question says that whenever there happens a fraud transaction, it still goes to a certain bank, and the account holder of that account can be held responsible or created. No, but then what has happened is the problem has happened with the customer. Okay, there is the mishap or the fraud that has happened with the customer. Now, that has got nothing to do with the KYC which was created. KYC was to know the details of the customer. However, the data has been leaked, or the data has gone out because either there was lack of a regulatory framework, or somehow the network was breached. Here comes the point that it is very, very important for us to understand data privacy, transparency, and bias considerations are very, very important. And only then we can say that a fraud transaction might not take place. Now, subject to constraint, I'm saying might not, because we know that wherever there is a problem, an amendment can be done. Wherever there is a new technology, scammers are going to again scam, again find out a new loophole into the entire thing. Having said that, I think there should be ethical considerations. There should be there should be your ethical standards and regulations across industry. That okay, this is how this is going to work. Okay, for instance, if you look at the banking apps, they also straight away, when you open a banking app, they say that we do not ask for OTP, we do not ask for sharing of passwords. But then we also need to understand that, okay, if these are the things which they are saying, I need to abide by this. Somebody, if asks you for these details and you tend to breach these things, automatically the fraud transaction will happen. So therefore, we need to understand that blockchain will come later in the picture, when we will have a proper ecosystem completely aligning with all these transactions industry wise. However, as of now, you and I have to be very, very careful with the transactions. Dr. Kabir, my take.
Rightly said, Dr. Indrani. At the end, it is on the part of the customer as well. As a customer, you are also supposed, since the technology is empowering you, it is your responsibility as a customer that you have to be aware. I mean, there are instances where a fraud can happen because of your lack of awareness as well. So that circumstances should not be attained. I mean, you should avoid such situations so that you should not put yourself into the trouble. Dr. Naila, an interesting question is coming in with algo trading. Since you are into the stock market, many a times there are a lot of influencers also coming into the picture, which when what they do is they motivate you, and maybe they hold these stocks well in advance, and then they create a hype into the market, and because of that hype, because of that demand, suddenly the price of those shares are coming up. So as an informed investor, as an aware investor, what is your take on that?
So, when I was doing my MBA, and I'm sure they teach it now also, there was something called buyer beware. So when we teach the Consumer Protection Act, we say that buyer has to be aware. So ultimately, the investor has to be aware. There will always be scammers and tricksters and fin influencers who are out to get your money. And this recent incident where this gentleman was offering crores of courses for technicals, and then he was ultimately BAP of charts. So the point is that People can sell only if there are people to buy.
100%.
And because people are so greedy that they fall for such kind of unrealistic kind of promises that these people make. So nobody can teach you finance or trading or algo trading in a second. And if anybody is influencing you that they can, that you need to question, why are you even agreeing? Because then everybody would be a billionaire. I mean, why is that guy selling courses if he knows that trick? If I knew how to be a trillionaire, I would not even, go to sell anything. I'll go and relax. If they are selling, that means that there is a problem. So they don't have the panacea of, the koi amrit nahi hai unke paas.
Rightly said. I mean, if they have that trick, I mean, they'll devote all their time
Why,
into the
why are they
market.
selling? Why are they selling then?
Exactly.
Selling courses?
Yeah, I mean, they'll do it in unison. I mean, they'll not
See,
spread the idea.
this is something which people who are buying those courses should understand, that if this guy was so smart and so magical, then he wouldn't be approaching you to buy his course. And it cannot be from the goodness of the heart. Nobody operates from the goodness of the heart.
Exactly.
Fully. Maybe, yeah, of course, you do 5% charity, but then remaining 95% you are doing work for gains. So if anybody is falling for this kind of thing, ultimately it is caveat emptor. Thank you, Dr. Indrani. I forgot the Latin word for it. It is caveat emptor. It is the investor has to beware. Whether it is anybody selling courses or selling algo or selling, technicals. I can show you the intraday trading and futures and options market trading in 2 days. So believe me, in 25 years, I cannot say I'm an expert.
It's all
And if
about
I was an
learning.
expert, I wouldn't be sitting here. By the
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. The same goes for all of us. Rightly said. Thank you, Dr. Naila, for being so honest and so genuine. I mean, I must say. So, Dr. Naila, my next question is for you only. With artificial intelligence becoming more prevalent in personal finance applications, okay, this is an area of interest for each and every one of us who is doing MBA in finance, marketing, or whatever nature it is. How do you see this affecting financial literacy and the decision making process to the general public?
So I have a certain contrary take here. Availability of knowledge is immense now, whether it is direct or whether it is through AI. So, if you want to understand risk taking ability, or you want to understand what equity debt is, what mutual funds are, you can get all the knowledge on the internet, even without AI. Then comes the application. So the people who could have studied directly have not studied there, and now they are going to apps to, get advice. The app will advise you based on the algorithm that is fed into it, which personally, being a financial planner myself, I am also a certified financial planner. So I'm telling you, I think the human touch is not there, because every investor is unique, and I don't feel that a robot can actually tweak the portfolio according to your particular unique characteristic. Having said that, a robot can make a generic kind of a portfolio. Maybe the asset allocation can be done, maybe the suggestions for the investments, which products to buy, that can be done, but the final call has to be human. So yes, there are lots of applications now. The robo advisory is really picking up because it is cheaper than human advice, no doubt about it. If you get advice, a financial plan made from a human being, then you will be spending some thousand rupees, some few thousand rupees. From a robo advisor, it is practically free. Now, the point is it really tailor-made for you? Because has the robot actually understood your uniqueness? That part I am a little doubtful about. I am not, of course, it's a huge industry and I shouldn't question it like this, but coming from the heart, This particular part, the personal finance part, I feel that it is better handled by persons and not by robots. But then
Uh,
if you have Mint is using it. There are lots of advisory. I mean, there are literally hundreds.
Rightly said. I mean, you can have a combination because this is my personal take as well, being into the field of finance, that finance cannot go like one size fits all. It will not work in the case of finance that you'll make a common advertisement and it will attract a large number of audience. It might work in marketing, maybe. I'm not a marketing guy, but however, when it comes to finance, as you said, each and every one of us, like three of us are discussing this, we have a lot of participants as well. Each and every one of us have separate goals, have their separate aspirations, have their different source of income coming from different background. So how is it possible that one robo advisor with a predefined text will do the job for us? Just because of easily availability, and as you said, they are cheap as well when it comes to personal advisory. I mean, obviously, they'll be charging you lesser as compared to a personal advisor, because the personal advisor will devote a lot of time. And in this case, predefined plan is there. It will make you think in the way they want you to do. Again, the tech is you are being driven by the tech. So
Correct.
again, yeah, exactly, you are 100% right. When it comes to personal finance, completely depending upon the artificial intelligence may not work. I mean, it has not worked for me in person. And if it works, I mean, then there is something called as behavioral finance, which is an
Right.
integral part of
Right.
MBA finance.
Right.
That based on the behavior, I think Dr. Indrani would also like to contribute to this point. If it is like that, then the behavioral finance will lose its existence in the curriculum as well. Dr. Indrani, would you like to contribute something to this?
Yes, Kabir sir. Behavioral finance drives straight away to prospect theory. And then we can talk about a lot of stuff. However, when Dr. Naila was talking about, there were several anecdotes, which were coming to my mind. I would like to share a couple of the anecdotes with the audience here. So this is a real incident which I heard from a professor, and they mentioned that how these gadgets, such as Alexa, interestingly, Dr. Naila has already entered into our house, our drawing rooms, and then interestingly, what was found is that in a house during a normal usual day, there was this daughter who was trying to say that, okay, I want to have some ice cream, okay, and then the conversation somehow got diverted and something else, they started talking about something else. After a couple of days, this Alexa started playing advertisements of ice creams, okay, and this is how, just imagine how tech is manipulating or registering everything, every word that you and I are saying in our household, everything
Right.
that
Agreed.
everything that we are doing in our bedroom to our drawing room, everything is out there in the public domain. The moment I say that it is getting stored in the cloud, it is for us to understand anybody can exploit the cloud if there is a breach. It's very, very important for us to understand that, जिसे हम हिंदी में कई बार कहते हैं कि नकल करो मगर अकल से. So it's very important for one to understand that merely becoming a pro with AI is one thing. However, having your basics clear is very, very important. How much are you adapting? The adaptability part that Dr. Kabir was also mentioning is very, very important. You have to adapt. If there is somebody who is saying that you can fall trap to one particular scam, or something can go wrong, beware. Understand that this might go wrong. Not everything that is being shown to you rosy is rosy. If it is so, like Dr. Naila said, तो फिर हमें यहाँ जरूरत ही नहीं थी बैठने की. We could have done a lot of trading and made a lot of money, right? So that's very, very important. That behavioral theory, prospect theory, behavioral aspects, behavioral finance comes into picture, where we try to understand what kind of investor you are, what kind of investor I am. जस्ट फॉर एन इंस्टेंस, आप कभी, जो ऑडियंस यहाँ बैठी है, आप कभी चैट जीपीटी पे कुछ कॉमन प्रॉम्प्ट्स दे के देखिए, and you will see you are going to get similar kind of outcomes. However, if three of us tell our problems to, let's say, a counselor, God forbid, the counselor will give us customized solutions, right? So that is exactly what is a robo advisory doing vis-a-vis a personal touch or a personal customization. Thank you, Dr. Kabir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Indrani. I'd like to put the next question to you only. Rohan is asking what things to keep in mind as a person from engineering background pursuing MBA.
Rohan, I think I wanted to answer that a couple of minutes back, but then I thought there could be students from different diverse backgrounds as well. However, I think if you are in from engineering already, so you have an understanding of the analytical part, you understand machines, mechanics, all such things. You understand, and you're not afraid of numbers. Like a lot of people in my MBA class, they say, "Ma'am, I'm panicked of numbers and a little bit of here and there." So I think you already are ready. And okay, a little bit of programming skills is very, very important. And particularly these days, we talk about R, we talk about Python, right? Right. Gone are the days of C and C++. We talk about R and Python. So a little bit understanding of these things and what you bring in, and plus your zeal to learn is what is required, and nothing specific.
Rightly said, Dr. Indrani. And we also believe at UPS Online that these days basics of language. I mean, as a management person, you should know the basics of language. So we are also teaching them the basics of Python and our in our analytics course as well. Now we are heading towards the last few questions, and I'll like to put this question to both of our experts. With the interim budget being declared today, I mean, what key fiscal policies or announcement are you anticipating that could have a significant impact on the financial landscape, considering the artificial intelligence, and how might these announcements will influence the investment strategies in India?
So today's budget was a no bang budget. I mean, I was reading an article which said that it's a no bang budget. So basically, nothing significant, uh, striking has been announced. But yes, overall, there seems to be a push towards capital expenditure, which is a very positive thing. They have increased the capital expenditure by 11%, actually 11.11% to 11.11 lakh crore. And this is going to have a cascading impact on many sectors. So infrastructure is definitely going to get a boost. Then one more thing that they have announced is the boost to research and innovation. So they've set up a fund again of 1 lakh crore where they are talking about giving interest-free loans for 50 years to private sector entities who are engaged into research and innovation. So again, this again would we can indirectly link to AI, because AI would fall under the gambit of research right now because it's just still in a developing stage. So this will give an impetus to more development of technologies, and which can make the financial industry more efficient, more transparent. So this is one thing. It also gives an idea about where you can enter for jobs as well as in case of entrepreneurship. So any MBA, whether a finance or not, they can look at the budget and they can see where the economy is headed in the next 5 years. And that could be sunrise sectors, because they're talking about sunrise sectors. So electric vehicles definitely would be a sunrise sector. In fact, any renewable energy, natural resource sector would be, where fossil fuels are not being used. That would be a sunrise sector right now. So, though there has been nothing at all for tax, which is a very big disappointment, uh, but as it is focused towards, I think, poor women, farmers, and youth. So, I am a woman definitely, but I don't think I fall into that category of Lakpati Didi. But so basically, nothing for me.
Dr. Indrani, we would like to hear your opinion as well on the same.
Sir, I think a lot of it has been covered by Dr. Naila. However, the emphasis has been on technology empowerment. The emphasis has been on electric vehicles, right? We all know how India is gearing up with electric vehicles. Every now and then we see electric vehicles. Also, infrastructure has been focused upon use of technology to improve productivity, high power committees to be established which will take care of the challenges which are arising from demographic issues and concerns, particularly when we also talk about just say I think it was not much for salaried individuals. The tax slab, there was nothing for, we were expecting that okay, there should be something for salaried individuals. There was nothing. However, I think the focus more this time is on like फाइव जो पांच दिशा निर्देशक बातें जिन पे बात की गई है, which is use of technology for poor, youth, women and annadata, which are our farmers.
One more thing which is significant is that the disinvestment target for 2025 is now 50,000 crores, which means that we will be seeing a lot more PSUs on the block soon. So let's see who is next in line.
Yes.
Yes, divestment was also there. And more or less, since it is an interim budget, I mean, it is there for 2-3 months only.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting the main budget in the month of April. I mean, so let's expect something from for salaried people as well.
I frankly speaking, I am not crossing my fingers. Not even expecting anything.
Okay, let's hope for the best.
I was thinking that might be that they are going to make new tax regime compulsory for everybody and snatching.
No, that's not right also. I don't agree
That
with
should
that.
not
Because
happen.
old regime is very good for savings and
Absolutely.
investment.
For a
Absolutely.
country,
No second
for a
thought.
country like ours, I mean, still we, I mean, that's a lucrative part which makes the people to invest.
Actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was the main motive as well of putting
And you
the
know,
deduction of ATC.
with the youth too inclined towards consumption, they require this compulsory saving. Otherwise, they'll blow off all their money, and then they will be left with nothing for their retirement years. So
We are going to be like another Western economy where whatever you are, I mean, earning for 5 days, you're spending that on the weekends and there's
yeah.
nothing left
Mhm.
because the social security needs are not taken care of.
There is no surplus
Absolutely.
True.
Absolutely.
coming in and cash coming in, cash going out.
Cash going
And
out.
and then there is a loan. Then there is the pay laters of the world. So the debt component of personal finance has gone up by significant percentage. I was reading an article. It used to be 3%, now it is 5%, which is huge change in the last 2 years.
And it's a significant learning for all our participants as well, who are our students. As some of them are our students, some of them are still looking to do the master's degree. I mean, savings plays a very crucial role. That all we can say as a mentor as well.
Yeah.
Okay, heading towards the last question. And first, I'd like to go to Dr. Naila for this question. Looking ahead, where do you see the Indian stock market heading from here, considering the ongoing economic dynamics and the global factors and the policy changes as well?
So it has been very resilient so far. And I was talking to somebody only today in the morning, and they said that there was a time when the foreign markets used to even sneeze. There used to be a jitter in Indian markets. But that situation has calmed down, and we are standing on our own. And that is a huge thing. So, whether we will be a developed economy by 2047, as this government is talking about, or not, still the progress seems to be in the right direction. And definitely we'll see the Sensex and the Nifty hitting new highs.
Nice.
But there will be corrections. See, that is it is in the nature of the markets to correct. So you cannot go on a complete spiral up. It will come down and then it will move up again. But the general trend is going to be positive. The trick is, again, I would say, is to stay invested for long term. If you want to take advantage of the trend, then you need to stay invested for at least 5 to 7 years. Uh, Short term, again, I am a total fundamentalist. I am not a technical person at all. So I don't advise any investment less than 3 to 5 years. Uh, So yes, I mean, I'm pretty sure that the markets are going to hit very, very significant highs in future.
Thank you, Dr. Naila, for this advice that stay invested and hold tight.
Yeah.
Okay, so any concluding remark on our theme from your side, and then I'll move to Dr. Indrani.
No, I think it was a fantastic discussion, and I felt energized to talk so much about technology, and learned a few things about blockchain also from Dr. Indrani, an area where I am not going to say I'm very good at, because I, again, uh, I'm more of a concept person, and new technologies are a little difficult to come by. But I think it was a fantastic discussion. Overall, you did really well.
Thank you so much. Dr. Indrani,
Thank you
concluding
for the
remarks for our participants.
Thank you. It's a little tough to give a concluding remarks. However, मैंने एक चीज सोच रखी थी जिस बारे में मैं definitely बात करूंगी. But as ma'am said, जब वो बात कर रही थी sneezing of different economies, I remember writing a couple of papers on volatility spillover when I was doing my doctorate in econometrics. So volatility spillover refers to something that happens in, let's say, European markets, and we see constantly something that it is impacting Indian market. However, gone are the times, and we feel blessed that those times are gone. Now we are fundamentally, जिसे हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर कहते हैं आत्मनिर्भर भारत, to a lot of to a greater extent we have become atmanirbhar, because now the economy is kind of stable. Now again, having said that, by 2047 whether we'll be able to reach there or not, that's a different call. But however, I think we are doing good. Stay invested is one thing that's very, very important. Understand the fundamentals of the company and only invest with the companies that you feel that okay, these are fine, true to the value, and this is how it. And of course we learn through experience. That's very, very important. Markets will have their corrections. Markets, where I remember when I finished my MBA, immediately after that there was the subprime crisis. Market way back then was 8,000, and today market is 71, 72,000. We see in 15, 16 years what magic has happened in the market. Does not mean that there is not going to be correction. Of course, there'll be correction. That's rule of the game. So this is going to happen. However, जो मैं conclude करना चाहती थी उसके लिए मैं I will talk about somebody whose name is Dr. Devdutt Patnaik. आई एम श्योर लोगों ने यहाँ सुना होगा डॉक्टर देवदत्त पटनायक. मैं इस बात को इसलिए कह रही हूँ डॉक्टर कबीर, बिकॉज we are talking about artificial intelligence, we are talking about MBA finance, and at the same time what is very, very important for us apart from our programming skills is also the critical thinking and staying too aware of our roots. Dr. Devdutt Patnaik, he has on the channel Epic, he has this Devlok, a lot of stories. He was appointed as a chief belief officer, okay, a CBO, a chief belief officer by the Future Group. The reason why the company wanted people and the employees to understand the values are also equally important as technology, as staying ahead and staying updated. So I think आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग, आपकी समझ, आपकी क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग, आपकी एजिलिटी, एंड आप कितने प्रो हैं सीखने में, ये सारी चीजें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. आई थिंक दैट वुड बी ऑल.
Thank you so much, Dr. Indrani. And all I can say that AI has been integrated with the conventional finance know-how, and the AI has disrupted Indian financial markets as well and the financial system. But as it was suggested and focused by our expert, that AI cannot replace the human. However, it is us on the part of management professionals who are supposed to integrate our traditional knowledge with their actual applications along with the technological tools and the recent advancements, and to be ready for the market. As a learner and as a professional as well, you are supposed to be ready to adopt the AI tools. You should not treat them as a taboo. They are not the need of the hour, but data is the new currency. You have to admit that, you have to work that, and you have to accept it as well. Thank you so much to all my participants, and a big thanks on the behalf of Team UPS Online and on my personal behalf to Dr. Naila and Dr. Indrani for sparing their valuable time and for sharing their valuable inputs with all the participants and to me as well. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Looking forward to have more such insightful discussions in the coming future. Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kabir. Thank you, Dr. Naila.
And to all the participants, if we have missed any of your queries, our team will get back to you soon with the responses. Because of the paucity of time, we might have missed one or two queries maybe. So our team will get back to you. Thank you so much.